this hippie heart likes it. Hey everybody. Today we're going to be working on a tumbler. I know I haven't done a lot of tumblers lately, but this 30-ounce skinny was asking for it. And I want to try something that I haven't tried before. And I want to either succeed or fail right here on camera. I have already treated my cup with Tack-It, and I've got 2 coats of Tack-It on there. And I'm going to be doing predominantly micas, which brings me to the Hippie Crafter. This, oops, I don't know how we can show you here. Hippie Crafter reached out to me and asked if I would do some videos and review their product. Now, I did use this already. I did a sample board for a countertop, and I really liked the way the micas reacted. So I thought I want to try it on something else that doesn't require me to mix it in with epoxy first. So we're going to do this tumbler. Now, just to let you know a little bit about Hippie Crafter, this mica set comes in 24 colors, and it's a very highly concentrated color in each of these little pots that you get. Now, I know this doesn't look like a lot, but I want to show you, and I have to tap this down first. These micas are so full. That's a new jar, and those micas are right up to the top. They don't come with one of those peel away seals, so you're not losing mica there. You're not going to spill it all over the place. Just when you get it, just see, they're so full that it just poofed. But tap it down on the top and move it away from the top. Okay. I'm going to be using a number of their micas, and I also have some other ones that I brought in for colors that I had that maybe weren't in that set, because I want to kind of try to blend them all together and make them make sense. So I'm not going to tell you every single color that I have here because there's a lot. What I'm going to do is just let you know that I'm doing a grouping in a green hue. I'm going to be doing a grouping in blues, and then I'm going to introduce a little bit of purple into it, but probably not a lot. And then I want to kind of work in some gold, and I've got some Aztec gold here. And this is the burnt umber. I want to use this. And now they have a silver black. I needed a black that was going to be a little less silver and a whole lot more black, so I'm going to be using this one. And that being said, oh, and I've got an aquamarine here, but when I put it on the paper, I'll decide whether or not I want to use that. So I'm going to go ahead and get my little piles together on this white piece of parchment that I have here. We're going to apply our micas with, I'm going to try with makeup sponges, and I'm also going to try with this silicone squeegee tool. I think most of us that do cups have these. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get this all set up, and then when we come back, we will start applying to our cup. All these little dots are little tiny spoonfuls of mica powders. Now, I've grouped them in colorings, hues. Blues, there's my purples and lilac, my greens. This is the aquamarine, not sure that's even going to fit. And then I have my Aztec gold, and over here I have my burnt umber. I'm not going to put the black out yet because that's going to be an after effect once I get my colors on. So I can't see any sense in putting it out there. I think we're going to start with our makeup sponge and see how we do with that. Like I said, I haven't done this way yet, so I want to give it a try. I need to kind of back you out a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to start with the darker colors, and I want to build on those, and I'm hoping that's going to work. Otherwise, I have these really ugly brushes that I bought a long time ago at Harbor Freight, and I may need to dip into the powders to kind of etch them in a little bit because I want some variation. You'll see what I'm talking about. What I'm going for is I want this cup to look like a stone, and the stone is, and I'm hoping I'm going to say this right, Labradorite. And I will insert a picture of my inspiration for this. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with my colors. And I am also going to dip into my black mica here and attempt to make the stripes that I'm looking for. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do it another way, and I don't really know if it's going to work. I'm hoping, but I'll figure something out. Okay, so for this, we're going to cross hatch. My husband just came in, so if you hear somebody getting all excited, he's talking to my other dogs. And this is what I'm looking to do, is to give myself some kind of hatching. You can come in. Like that. If you can see the hatching on there. That's what I'm looking to do. Where are you? love you. And I'm just rocking that back and forth, kind of smushing that hatching down into my cup. And I'm just knocking off any excess there. There. And I want to do that with all of them, but I don't want it to all be in the same direction. And all I'm doing is just sawing a sawing motion into my black mica and then placing it on here. And you'll see that there are many different lines on, I noticed it on the blues, but I mean, we're not going for real. We're going for fantasy. So we're going to put a couple of hatches here and there, just enough to show. I think it might be stress fractures from the way the rock develops. I don't really know, but if you do, by all means, drop your explanation to it into the comments. If I don't stop kicking this thing. There, blow that off. This hippie heart likes it. Stay tuned. We will return shortly. We're back with our sprayed tumbler. I let it dry overnight, and as you can see, it dulled it up quite a bit, which I anticipated. I used flat clear on here. I think I used Krylon because I have like 3 cans of it that I haven't used. So I'm hoping that it doesn't repel my epoxy. And let me set that right there. I have mixed up about 15 milliliters of Unicone resin. I like that as an art resin. It's got a very low viscosity, and it also releases bubbles like magic. So I decided to use that today. Not always my choice, but I am going to be using some interference blue mica powder from Let's Resin. I got it in this box of 6. I believe there's 6 in here. Yeah, there's 6 different colors. I chose the blue because there's a lot of blue in this cup, but I'm not going to use a lot of it. My whole point to this is I wanted a little extra iridescence over top of my colors before I put my final effect on here. So I am just looking to put a tiny bit into my resin, and I'm probably going to shoot myself in the foot doing this way. Let me get one of my little dinky spoons. All right, so we know the interference powder works really well over black, but I tried to spread it on thinking that it might stick to the spray paint, but it really didn't do what I wanted it to do. So I'm hoping that putting it on this first layer of resin, I'm going to get some iridescence that I couldn't apply any other way. I didn't think I could. So I just put that little bitty tiny amount in there. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's already reacting. The blue is already showing up in there before I even stir it. So I'm going to mix it up and see how it does as far as this coat goes. I really want there to be some iridescence to these colors. And yes, mica powders already throw a certain amount of iridescence, but I just wanted that one extra little, can you see it on that? It gives me just a little extra, and I think I might want just a tiny bit more. And the thing is, you can always put in more, but you can't take it away once you put it in. So I'm adding very sparingly. Just going to stir it in. And it looks like maybe that might give me what I'm looking for. Like I said, I only want a tiny bit. I only want it to shimmer a little bit, but not overpower. I don't want it to all be interference powder. So there. It's showing me on the stick that it gives a little bit of a shimmer, so I'm calling that good. I can already see where the interference is working against other colors. That makes me happy. Okay. I'm not sure you can see anything there that shows the iridescence. There's a lot of it right here that you can hopefully see with that light. But we'll be back. Hey guys, we have epoxied this, and when I did, if you recall, I did say something about using the Krylon spray, the matte spray, to anchor my mica powders. Yeah, I won't be doing that again. Reason being is this cup fish-eyed everywhere. Well, lemons to lemonade, in my opinion. I waited until the epoxy was tacky but not stringy, and I applied another coat of epoxy, different brand, because I wasn't sure which was causing the problem, whether it was the Krylon or the epoxy that I was using. So I went back to my Pro Marine that I normally use for my cups, and I applied another coat, and there is some rippling, and I'm okay with that. We're going to do another coat of epoxy, but I want to show you what I want to do with it. But what I wanted to hopefully get you to see is the rippling that was left actually put some definition into my colors. This is a really good one if you can see it. There is definitely definition in there that it just breaks up the interference micas that I used over top and went right straight down to my base colors of micas. So I thought, well, I'm not mad at it now. I was, but I'm not now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put another coat of epoxy on this, and I'm also going to be using Thermochromic pigment, and this is by Atlanta Chemical. And I want to say, I think I might have gotten this on Amazon, but I can't be certain. I've had it for a while. I've used it on other projects, but we're going to use that on here, and I'll show you what it does when I get it mixed up with the epoxy. So I need to put this onto my turner here. And I did sand down my rim, and I sanded down the butt of my cup. It was a tiny bit wobbly, so it didn't take much. I just kind of sanded it a little bit. But I've got my edge here so that when my epoxy goes on there, it will cause a seal at the top. Now, let me just make sure you can see this well enough. There we go. Here's my epoxy that I've mixed up. I've got 30 milliliters. And I'm going to be putting, let me just get this top open and get a spoon that I can use in there. This one will do it. This one's good. Okay. I'm going to start with just a small amount, like this much. I don't know how well you can see that, but I'll show it to you in the bottom of my container. I'm not looking to completely cover this tumbler with this black thermochromatic. I can never remember the name of it, but that's how much I've got in the bottom of my container. I'm going to pour my epoxy in there and give it a stir. I'm only going to make just a little bit, I think. I'm probably not going to use all of this epoxy that I have mixed up either. But let's see, what did I put in there? I've got approximately 10 milliliters in here. And I'm just mixing it up. It does take a bit to get it mixed in. Once you put the epoxy on, you don't want this that's going to turn black and kind of shadow in. You don't want that to overtake the entire thing. That's my goal. Let's see if I can achieve that. Here we are. Oh, and you're going to see that turn black almost instantly. You see that? So that basically will be a fogging. There's going to be a fogging in the square. Never mind. We'll see what it does. And of course I'll smooth out what I have to, where I have to. And I'm going to want a little bit up here. And a little down here. I think the visual interests on this are going to be in a lot of different directions. I'm hoping. And right now, it really isn't revealing its secrets, but hopefully in a little bit it will. Okay, I'm getting a little bit of surface tension there. All right, I think we're good there. I'm going to wipe my glove off, and I'm going to hit it with the torch, pop some bubbles, and then I think we're going to, as we wait for it to start to set up a little bit, to see where we're at, to see whether or not we need to do another level on there. Then when we come back, we'll see that. It does incorporate a lot of bubbles, just so you're aware of that as well. Okay. It looks like crap right now. That's okay. I want to try something else. Let me get a little bit of goop on my hand, on my little stick here, so I'm not pulling it off. And see if I can't pull it through a little bit in those spots where I want there to be some peekaboo surprises. And since this is self-leveling, if you've never worked with resin before, most all resins are self-leveling. Say the words. So, this is not going to do anything to hurt it. And my resin is still very workable at this point. There. Okay. I think we like it. I am not at all disappointed with the way this turned out. As you can see, the black in there, which broke up my blue, and you can see striations of it throughout. Sorry, I'm holding my camera to do this. Down here you can see it. This came out so cool. I love how the colors just pop from underneath. And I want to show you how this thermochromatic powder works. I'm going to put my hand over that. Hopefully my hand is warm enough. You can see my fingers. Don't look at my ugly nails. I'm going to show it from another angle here. We've got, if I could get rid of this darn glare, right here we've got the black. I'm going to cover it. And it shows up my dark burnt umber underneath it. It's not a lot, but like say through here where it's much lighter underneath, I'm going to cover that. It would help if I could hold my hand in one spot. But guys, this came out so cool. And as you can see, I faded out the black. These are the marks, the hash marks that we made with the black mica powder. But this really did come out so cool. I'm loving it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's longer than we like to watch, but I felt like you needed to be able to see the different steps that I did. And I do apologize for the glare, but this little baby is shiny. So shiny. I love the different elements here. I think that the fish eyes actually gave this a lot of depth and a lot of value. So, hopefully you enjoyed this. I know I did. I enjoyed making it and seeing it come together. And if you haven't subscribed and you've watched this far, hit the subscribe button, hit that black bell off to the side of that. You'll get notifications when I put a video up. And don't be afraid to share this. And leave me a comment down below. Do you know what causes those hash marks or the stress marks in Labradorite? Thanks for hanging in with me. I appreciate you and your time. And until next time, you know it. Toodles!